Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So today let's talk about expectations. Expectations is something that we all have, whether it's about ourselves, whether it's about our relationships, our finances, our future life. We have loads of expectations. But where all those expectations are coming from and do we really need them? That's exactly what we will cover today. So expectations is something that we learn from the very young age. Expectations are being put on us. As children, we learn through observing and through our environment. So our parents, schools, society, they have huge impact on who we are, what we like, what we don't like, what we believe is acceptable and what we believe it's not acceptable. Those expectations put on us, those learning curves, are there to show us how to behave and what to do for other people to really like us, to accept us, and where we get punished for not meeting some of the expectations. So, for example, it will be when we are a child, there's an expectation on a child that it will listen to their parents. There is an expectation for us to act certain ways, to behave certain ways, so we won't upset our parents, we won't upset our teachers. When we go to school, there's an expectation for us to sit for certain hours and to take on the knowledge, and we will listen. There's an expectation on us whether we can say something or not, and to where to say those things. We learn about expectations from the very, very beginning of our lives. But how does that then impact our adulthood? And how does that then provide us with a pathway, let's say, to who we are in our adulthood? The problem with that is when we will have so many expectations, and the expectations tend to be negatively impacting our mental health, negatively impacting our self-esteem, then we will believe that unless we act certain ways, so often becoming invisible, never talk about your own desires, never speak about your opinions, never just give anyone anything that will indicate that you are individual. So basically, the expectations on you that you will hold inside, if you're losing yourself and all of that is put on you and all that you live by is those expectations, what you think people are expecting you to be, then there is disconnection from the self. Don't get me wrong, those pathways we need as children, we really need to know what to do and how to be and what's acceptable. Like, we can't just go about and hit other kids and just because we feel like it. There is a lesson, there is a learning curve, but that is just one piece. That is not who you meant to be all of the time. Sometimes you do need to think for yourself. Sometimes it's okay to say what you want. It's part of setting boundaries. It's part of learning about boundaries. It's part of learning a lot about ourselves. But if you live by expectations and all of your focus is on social expectations and what people expect you to be, what they want you to do, what they want you to be, you're losing yourself, because you don't really pay attention to what you want. You just want to be the good girl, good boy, not to cause problems, not to be too much trouble, not to be a burden. You just want to be the good child, invisible, Someone who is just easygoing, never has any problems, never has any opinions. Why do you want to be such an invisible being? How does that ever impacting you? How you meant to lead yourself? How you meant to take the ownership of your life? How you meant to take responsibility for who you are? If all what you think about is what other people want you to be and how to please them and how to act so they can be happy with who you are. How you meant to ever get to know yourself if you're constantly looking to please other people? So an example of that will be, let's say you're meeting your friends and you would love to have a lovely pizza, like loads of cheese and just, oh. But your friends are having salads, they're all healthy and like counting calories, they're on diets. What do? You go along, play along. Oh yes, like you're on diet, I'm on diet too. Like yes, we will just have salad. You'll never say that you would love to have a lovely juicy pizza. That's just one example. Another example would be in relationships. When your partner is asking you, what would you like to do? It's Saturday evening. What would you like to do? Oh, I don't mind. I'm easygoing or whatever. I just go along. Whatever you want, you decide, and I just do what you want. And maybe you just wish to have a glass of wine, a nice movie on Netflix, and that's enough for you for the evening. But maybe your partner is wanting to go out. Maybe he thinks he wants you to go out. That's another key. In relationships, any kind of relationships, whether it's with your partner, with your children, with your boss, with your friends, with yourself, communication is the key. So how do you communicate your needs? How do you communicate what you want, who you are? What are you going to accept? Coming back to expectations, when you don't speak, we are building an expectation that if we don't talk about our needs, someone comes in like the hero and will save you. Will save you from being invisible. You concentrating, you're focusing on what other people want you to be, so you can be the good person, the person who never cause any troubles. But then at the same time, subconsciously, you're hoping that someone else will come and meet your needs. This is all like a hamster wheel, like we go on about forgetting ourselves, hoping that someone else will come in and fix us and helps us and save us. Someone will finally love us, that someone will finally treat us the way we would love them to treat us. The problem with that is, how can someone see you and respect your needs if you never communicate those needs? How can you expect someone to listen to what you want without you not ever telling them what you actually want? So expectations that were once put on us, we take it forward. And even though we play the invisible, easygoing person, the truth with that is we put those unmet expectations somewhere else. It calls projections. We will project our own unmet needs onto someone else, completely disregarding the power that you have, completely disregarding the responsibility of your own life that you hold. Instead, we think people should make us feel certain ways. that we should be acting certain ways for them to accept us. But the question is, do you ever see yourself? Do you ever accept yourself for who you are? Do you even have time and space to think about your own self, about your own needs? And not in this expectation way about, oh, he didn't do this, she didn't see me. Not about that. Thinking about your own needs in a way of you taking the ownership. So, what do I need? How can I get it? How can I look after my own needs? How can I make myself feel good about me? What am I telling myself? Is it true? Maybe I need to change my thoughts about myself. These are just the first steps to start looking and starting to become visible, not for everyone else, but for yourself. For yourself. There's also an expectation, especially around social media now, that you should be positive all the time. Positive vibes only. You should be always happy. If you tell anyone how you really feel and that you're sad or that you're happy, oh my God, you're so negative. No, that is one BS. Another thing, I'll come back to that in a second. Another thing is that we expect ourselves to be grateful for everything all the time. It's not realistic. It's actually not real. It's actually impossible to be grateful all the time, to be happy all the time, to be in the high vibe all the time. You're human. You're here to experience both happiness and the sadness, the goodness of life and the ugliness of life. You're meant here to go high and go for your dreams, for your goals, experience the highs. But you also need to experience the challenges of life. You have to overcome your own ego. You have to overcome any obstacles that will be on your path. How are you meant to do it if you're constantly thinking about, oh my God, I need to be positive. Something really bad is happening to you. Someone is really disrespecting you. And you keep telling yourself, oh my God, positive vibes only. I can't be angry. I can't be sad. I just need to smile and look good and like, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. It's fake. It's fake. Another thing about the gratitude. Again, we're humans. It's amazing to be human, but at the same time, being human has its own challenges. And part of that is not to feel grateful all of the time. In a grand scheme, yes, you can feel that you're grateful. But there are situations during the day that your mind will be too busy, and you will lose focus on the gratitude because you will be focusing on something else. Maybe you'll be planning a day trip. Maybe you'll be planning your kids going to school. Maybe you'll be thinking about your work. What else do you have to do? Oh my God, I need to send that email. Yes, okay, right. You can't feel grateful all of the time. This is where we get lost. We're thinking that we should be feeling certain ways all the time. We think that we should be acting certain ways all the time. Those expectations are not realistic. This is not normal in a way to be happy. No one can feel excitement all of the time. no matter how positive a person is. Those people also get bad days, but bad days doesn't mean a bad life. Bad day doesn't mean a bad month. Bad days doesn't mean that you're a bad person or that your life sucks. It doesn't mean like that. It means in those days where they're bad, you're more vulnerable. You feel something else other than happiness. So rather than judging yourself, avoiding the feeling, ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What do I need? What's missing? What can I give myself? What do I really need? Maybe you're angry. Great, fantastic. What is this anger telling me? There's so much energy when it comes to anger. How do you talk to yourself? How do you treat yourself when you are angry? These things are really, really important. And unless you own it, you take the ownership of it, you take responsibility for who you are, what you feel, what you do, that's where you're starting to come back to yourself. This is really, really important. Setting boundaries is another way to work on your self-esteem, to let go of unrealistic expectations. You got to start treating yourself like you do matter. You got to start respecting yourself, even if it means saying no sometimes to others. You're so concerned about whether people will like you or not. The question is, do you like yourself? How do you treat yourself? Are you visible for your own self? So revisit your expectations. Think about what is important to you and what isn't. What are you willing and ready to let go of? And what expectations you still need. And if you do need some expectations, ask yourself, why? I wish you to have a lovely day full of insightful thoughts. Journal about this. I think journaling will help you hugely when it comes to expectations and the relationship you have with yourself. This is the time when this is the great time to look after your own relationship with yourself and start to take ownership and responsibility for who you are. Don't go blindly, like the headless chickens, trying to manage everything at the same time, completely forgetting about yourself. Stop constantly trying to please others. You're not vegetable soup that everyone will love. Have some taste. And then, if you're going to love your own taste, let others decide. Not everyone is going to be your cup of tea. That's okay. But that means you too, you don't have to be everybody else's cup of tea. This is the freedom. This is how we really meant to build ourselves, our self-esteem. To allow yourself to know what you want and what you don't want, what you like and what you don't like, without those unrealistic expectations. Okay? Bye!